Yeah, so this conversation has been pending for some months now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were supposed to have had this conversation, I think, earlier this year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember it
Yeah.
was like February, March.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think the
well,
first time we just met, it was like we're going to have we need to do a podcast.
yeah.
But now you
So
can imagine the
yeah, but like knowing you two guys, I thought it would really be interesting to kind of share your story with everybody else and
Yeah.
where you started from. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess we introduce ourselves.
Okay.
So
We can start.
yeah,
Okay.
introduce yourself first.
All right. Yeah. So my name is Trust Chota. I'm a senior software developer at Bongo Hive. I have 4+ years of experience.
oh, it's
Yeah,
been 4 years.
yeah, 4+. That is building real world solutions.
What about
Yeah,
building fake world?
I don't want to include to do ups and then all those. Yeah, yeah, but it's been
Interesting.
it's been 4+ years of experience. Yeah, so I'm a full stack, so I work both on the back end and the front end. I also do USSD apps as well.
Oh,
Good.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so
Okay. Yeah. We'll also hear from this gentleman here.
Oh,
I think.
it's
I think
been
these
wild.
guys has oversold my position. Said you do SSD.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think my name is Chomba. I'm senior software engineer with Bongo Hive. I've worked with them for 3 years plus. Yeah, I should be turning 4 years very soon. Yeah,
Oh,
funny to look at
interesting.
time. I think time flies so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about building real world versus fake world situations, I think real world it's been like 4 years. Then learning and then trying to get things in place, it's been about maybe a year plus.
Oh,
So yeah, to do apps was like a first year where I was learning how to code,
Yeah.
but the other 4 years that I've been close to 4 years now with Bongo Hive, it's been about building real impact. This is like working with startups, SMEs, and also corporate organization. I think it's been 4 years.
Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
Quite a few people actually acknowledge there's that period that we really can't add to our years of experience because
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
when we are learning,
We are learning.
And,
trying
and,
to
and actually, the funny
experiment.
part with that
Yeah.
is it's when you are starting the first 2 years feels like you've done the most, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
yeah.
moment you just do the Hello World app to the point where you deploy your first application, like you feel like you are there, like Mark Zuckerberg deploying Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's been overlooked in most instances where they look at years before you started building the actual products
Yeah.
to later on when you get like a real-time job or maybe the time that you are now building projects that have got like impact and value to customers.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so I
amazing.
feel like
Yeah.
we shouldn't overlook that. The moment you just decide to start learning how to code is when the journey begins,
Okay.
because that's where you also get the motivation towards the future.
Oh, all right.
Interesting. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, nice hearing from you, gentlemen.
All right.
Yeah. So, I guess that's not me. So, my name is Parity, and I'm an innovation associate with Bongo IF. So, my background is in software engineering. Yeah, but of course, over time, started getting into project management, product management, and innovation. So innovation, of course, dealing a lot with some product management work. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's me. Yeah, like I said, I'm an innovation associate with Bongo Hive as well. Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
all the three of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing in common is the employer. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, but another thing, passionate individuals, especially these two guys, really
Oh.
inspiring.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So
Appreciate that, man.
yeah. So gentlemen, I would like to hear from you. Like, what motivated you to get into software engineering? Yeah. So I think Chombo, we start with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting that you're studying with me. I wanted to get some points from because we share sort of like a similar
Yeah.
storyline. Yeah. I think, to be honest, what motivated me to be to be in tech was really around, I was looking for a career, and this was past my grade 12 completion, yeah. I was looking towards a career that can allow me to get a good paying job without having to go to school.
Oh, interesting.
So that means before I completed grade 12, I never had a computer. I never knew how to use a computer. And that was like, yeah. It was
That
just
was
like,
before you completed.
yes.
Oh.
Yes. So that was like grade 12. That was like 2014.
Oh.
So I was just looking at, because I knew my situations. I knew that me going to university isn't going to happen. And part of that constraints was, I think, just the family backgrounds, financial constraints here and there. And then also not just having good, or let me just say best grade 12 results that can allow you to get a bursary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those just where you didn't fail, you didn't pass, but you're just there.
Oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah. So it's something that I knew, and I was like, okay, if I have to take myself to school, I need to get a career that can give me good money so I can take myself to school.
Oh.
Yeah. So part of the motivation was just around what career can I do now to help me make money, then I can go to university. And looking at my backgrounds from grade 8, I've been taking technical drawing. So that was grade 8 to grade 9, TD. Yeah, and then grade 10 to grade 12, I actually jumped into geometrical machinery drawing.
My favorite subject.
Yes, exactly. So
when I was in school, that was my favorite.
Oh, nice. So you can see from that it's been about doing architecture engineering, because I loved drawing plans, I loved construction, geometry, orthographic view, stuff like that.
Okay.
So funny enough, I did research on what I could do, and around software engineering, there were other things that I tried before. So part of the media, like photography, animations, videography, stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
immediately after your grade 12.
Yes, immediately after grade 12. So this was me now just trying to look at what can I do in the next 2 years. I've always loved to do architecture engineering, but then I knew that money was a bit tricky to come by. So I started with photography, but I don't want to dwell much on that because it's like a whole separate conversation.
Okay.
But suffice to say, I did photography for a couple of years. I did music production. Yeah, so don't be surprised if you come across a song written chomba and stuff like that. Most people don't know, but I've done that as well.
Yeah.
So
I think I also once did that.
You did
trying learning FAO and stuff.
Common for our
yeah, but anyway,
did some
video editing and stuff.
video editing, music production at some point.
Yeah, true. Because for me, it was just a struggle to get out of the place that I was in, right? So the motivation to do software engineering was just around, this is a career that I can just teach myself and then try to build products that can give me money. So that was the motivation for me. I think, just not to beat around the bush. I think it's more about the money.
Okay. Quite inspiring.
Oh.
So trust.
Yes.
What motivated you to get into software engineering?
So for me, growing up, I just loved science. First of all, So so even in school, like I can fail all other subjects, but for science, I'll make sure I get it right. So growing up, I was exposed to mobile phones by my mother and also my aunt. Like at very young age, they bought me a phone. So like I was really interested into the games, like those snake games. So I grew up with a passion for loving electronics and mobile. So when growing up with that love for technology, reached a point where I was curious about how games are created.
Nice.
So like that is what exposed me to programming. But it was something that was tough, like getting to know like there's actually this type of programming languages that you can know. So instead, while in pursuit to know how to build games, I also like landed on things of to do with websites. So like I use things like Wix and WordPress. Like downloading apps, just curious about how these technology things work. And I think that it was just one day while I was in school. I was I just downloaded an app because I was looking for an app which I can use to build a website. So I landed on an app. It's called Web Development. I think I still see it on Play Store. I think now, yeah. So I thought it's an app that is like a drag and drop platform, but to my surprise, it had HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and I never had an idea of what HTML is. So like I just started reading through the HTML doc, and then that is the point where I had the aha moment, like, oh, this is how actually these things work. Yeah. And then from there, that's how like the 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 motivation grew, like, oh, I need to push. But I never had those intentions where like maybe I'll make money out of these things. It was just out of passion. So let's say out of passion of technology.
To build games.
Loving to build
It's
games.
funny, like I've heard that story from a lot of people where
Yes.
they got into this because they were so passionate about
About
building
games.
games. and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
But unfortunately,
Yeah.
I'm not a game developer.
So suffice to say, you would say the motivation has been around the gaming industry.
So
Or the power to
yeah,
create.
so I can say the motivation. I can say it's the love that I have for technology. Yeah, the passion. Even now, like when I'm doing something, I do it out of passion. Yeah, as much as maybe I will make money out of at the end of the day, but what really motivates me every day, it's the love that I have for building and for the love that I have for technology and science at the end of the day. Yeah.
So was that immediately after grade 12 or?
So getting an idea about programming, it was while I was still in school in grade 12. Yeah. And then like it was a struggle. I think it's something that we talk about again. As we are having a conversation. Yeah, because I never had someone who can direct me like, okay, you need to learn this. It's like it was the first time I experienced what overwhelming means. Like, yeah, so it's like,
That's really encouraging.
Interesting.
So now back to Chomba. So you told us like what motivated you to get into software engineering, but can you tell us like how you got started into this career? Like, how did you start? What were you doing before you studied software engineering? Like
Actually, that questions make me. It makes me happy because I remember telling it once to my sister, and then she was telling me to say, "Chumba, what you are saying sounds so odd. It sounds like you are in the 90s, 80s." But so I finished grade 12 in 2014, right? After that, I had a year to think about my future, and that's when I came to decide that, okay, I was going to try out 3 things. So photography, audio production, and programming, right? So within the same year, I got a chance to try out 3 of them, okay? So when I picked upon programming, it was just the issue of how do I get started, regardless of my current situation, right? So before then, I didn't know that you needed a very good computer, you needed a big phone, you needed all stuff like that. I didn't know all those things. It was just a point of how do I know how to create software, right? So I grew up in a police camp, so we do have like a police library. So I used to go to the library to just go check on programming books, and I came across some software development books. So these books will teach you around how the computer works, how different networks communicate with each other. And during that time, mind you, I'm doing all those without knowing that I need a computer. So I reached now a chapter that's a bit more practical, and I need to write something. But then I don't know where to write that. So here's what I do. I go to the librarian and I'm asking for a piece of paper and a pen. And then I start just copying whatsoever was on the textbook and writing down on the notebook, right? So I jot down a few points, but then the book is telling me to run the program, and I don't know what that means, right? So me not knowing that I needed to have a computer during that time was a bit of a challenge to come by. So I just got started without knowing what I needed to have in place. So I did that for about maybe a month until I spoke to somebody who was way deeper in the field. That's when they explained to say, oh, actually you need a computer, you need this, you need what. And then I realized that, okay, I know this career can allow me to get a job without university paper, but it definitely needs me to have a laptop or a phone. which I didn't have by then. Yeah. So for me, that's how things now, when things got through, I was like, okay, should I look for another career that doesn't involve me paying? Because I didn't have money, right? Like just as point blank, I didn't have the money. So what I did after realizing that I needed to have a PC was to try and ask from the people that I knew. Part of the story that I was doing before all this other stuff was around playing football. I play soccer, so I played soccer for a while. So most people thought I was going to be like a professional footballer, but
Did you do it so good?
yeah, I didn't think so, but people said so. So
Oh.
yeah, it's just been around.
Yeah.
You just don't know if they're just telling you because it's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
thing to say
Yeah.
or you're really good at it. But I just never felt the achievements that I thought I was gonna get out of the career. Right? I just didn't see that. So when I asked people about that, I was like, no, because they believed that I could play soccer well than I could work with computers. So
Yeah.
within the first few months, I decided to stop learning how to code because it was pointless. Any book that I come across would tell me I need to get a compiler, download it, install it, and then this is me. My entire life, I grew up without a computer, and it's telling me to do all this type of stuff. So I had to make a very tough decision. So what I said, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself 2 years. I'm just going to get any job that comes across, regardless if it's in tech or it's gonna give me money. But I just need enough money to buy a computer, right? So
Oh, interesting.
yeah, it's a long story, but let me just try and speed it up a bit. So long story short, I joined a Chinese construction company called Avic. So there's a new company that came in Lilai. They were building police houses.
Oh,
Yeah, so they were looking for carpenters. So I wasn't a carpenter, but I had the courage to I just want a job, man. It doesn't matter if it's gonna.
As somebody that did TD and
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
So I just have that
So it was
theory
easy.
part, yes, but the practicality I didn't have. So I joined Avic International, which that's if there's one thing I'm grateful for in life is joining Avic as a general worker, right? Because we were a group of maybe like 15 people that like finished with 12, but when we joined, most people quit because it was toxic, right? Because the Chinese work culture is different from ours.
Yeah.
They don't get to rest on weekends. They only have 1 day of rest in a year, right? Yes. Even if you go and work, you get paid on the 30th. You only get paid at the end of the work day. So you only get paid at 18 hours. Then the following day, 6 hours, you have to be on site. So you had not, So that was good for me because I could save up for the PC.
For the
That was
PC,
my initial job. So I joined Avic as a general worker. The money was little. I remember my first salary was. Zambian people don't share salaries, which is another problem that I'll come to in tech, right? Because So when I joined as a general worker, I was getting paid 400 per month, right? Yes,
And what
which
year
was that was 2018.
2018,
Yes.
400 kwacha per month.
Yes. And the first month, everybody quit except me and my brother, right? Because people were like, I know I can't do anything with this money. So for me, it was more of, okay, what can I do to make sure that maybe my money gets a bit higher because I have to get a PC regardless of the situation, right? So part of the challenges was that. But mind you, I had a very bigger reason behind that. The reason was I need to get a laptop so that I can learn programming and maybe get a job with it. So I did that for 1 year. There were some things that happened within the sessions that helped me see things differently. So with a lack of time, I'll just say I managed to get myself on track to get a promotion, right? Without the paper, because the Chinese, they don't look at the degree, they won't look at your trade certificate, stuff like that. They just look at, are you able to deliver, right? So I started looking at, okay, what are the bosses looking at? And then changed my narrative to make sure that I align the direction to that. So I got a promotion. Exactly. So I got a promotion based off that. And then another year, that was like 2019 at the end, I raised enough money to buy a laptop. I got a laptop and then I quit.
Immediately after you got it?
Yeah.
That's so objective, man.
Yeah, but when I quit, I had an issue with my family. Obviously, mom usually looks around safety for their kids, right? Because she knew that that job was giving me some money. So when I quit, I was like, I'm quitting. I want to learn computer and I want to do this. yeah, to her it was just about, okay, this kid wants to be playing games and just
Oh,
chilling.
yeah.
So yeah, that's we weren't on good terms for that decision. But I guess I knew what I wanted to do. So the challenges was, I wanted to do programming, didn't know I needed a PC, realized I need to have a PC to do that, look for a job to get money to do it, and then when I found the money I quit, right? Because I had to get back to reality to say, okay, I was actually on this timeline. Let me
Yes.
proceed. Yeah. So even if mom was upset, I had to figure out a way to prove a point. Yeah, because sometimes we may think the moms would hate us, but it's just
Yeah.
about show them that what you're doing, you are aware of what you're doing because you are young. Yeah. So I know it's gonna be like a long story, and we're talking about challenges, but in a nutshell, I would say realized I wanted to do programming, didn't have a PC, went to look for money to get a PC, get back to programming, and then I learned it.
Yeah, but then after you started learning, like,
Uh-huh.
how was your journey there? How was your journey? The moment you just started learning, how was your journey? Yeah, maybe you can just give us a brief on how you actually got to learn the moment you got your PC, and to the moment when you first made your one okay, let me not say $1, but the moment you first made your maybe 100 kwacha or above
100
from
kwacha.
programming. Yeah, yeah.
How hard
So,
was it?
yeah.
So after I got a PC, everything was smooth except for data bundles, actually. Yeah. Yeah. Because then you just think that you need to have a PC and then things will be smooth. Then you realize that you're getting into web development and you need internet access to deploy your applications or to test and to stuff like that. But I won't dwell much on that because I've already spoken on the challenges. So when I got a PC, it was nice for me because I could now try out the C++ I saw in books. I could do the hello world and press enter, and then I see things come up on the screen, right? So the first few months were heaven for me, and that was before I knew what has to go into the real world now to say, okay, when you go to a company or when the company comes to you, it has to be more than a hello world application that you're going to build, because they've got their business logic attached to whatsoever you are doing. Are you generating income, right? Is that income that you're generating, adding value to the company? So I didn't know all those type of stuff, but then the first few months were heaven. If that answers your question. Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing. Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, trust.
Yeah.
Tell us, how was your journey? Like,
Mm.
the moment you got done with grade 12, of course, you learned about programming while you were still in school.
Yeah.
But the moment you got done with your grade 12, like, how was your journey there? Yeah,
Okay.
from that moment until the moment you got your first job. So,
first job.
yeah, you can
Okay.
give us a brief on that.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, like, want to also address some of the challenges. Like, yeah, a lot of things are similar with job. Actually, I actually grew up playing football.
Oh,
Yeah.
what number? What position?
I was a top man, like 9, 10, and then like later I moved to the midfield. Yeah,
Same story.
yeah. So like I once played Coca-Cola at school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I played
Amazing.
first league. Yeah.
What year was that?
Yeah.
What year was that?
I think in my it's 2019.
Oh, okay.
2019.
I played Coca-Cola Cup
Yeah.
way back.
Oh.
Yeah,
So,
way back.
Yeah.
good soccer player.
Yeah, so
I hope
yeah, so I even like when I was too young, I made the name like at shawarma, like they used
Best
to call
for
me. Yeah, no, no.
What?
Yeah, no, it was yellow because
Oh,
yeah,
yellow man.
yeah. So yeah, everyone even up to now, I think when I go to shawarma, there will be people who call me yellow, like yeah, because it's still stuck. Yeah, yeah. So I had that hopes, even if I was learning programming, but I was still playing football because like football is something I also enjoyed like playing. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know about the football part.
Yeah, oh, I didn't.
I'm just learning about it now.
Yeah, so a lot of things like yeah, and como yeah, I say yeah, and also yeah, also when I started learning programming, I forgot to mention I also never had like a laptop or a computer. Yeah,
Case.
I explored solutions that I can use on Android. Yeah, I think there's one powerful app, Temax. Yeah, Temax is really powerful. Yeah, so
On Android?
yeah, on Android, yeah, you can actually program on Android. Yeah, so yeah, so I mostly used the phone, and then yeah, I was playing around with code on the phone, and then up to the point where I think there was a time one of like our church choir masters, he had the studio, so like he had some PCs that they were just sitting home. So like I went visiting one day, and then he had like, oh, I'm good with computers. So I was like, ah, actually, these are just sitting here. You can just try to use one. So that's when he assisted me with the computer, and then yeah, I'll just keep it brief. Yeah, he assisted me with the computer, and then yeah, I think I created a portfolio, and then when I thought like, okay, now I'm ready to yeah, to build real world project. I was searching the Facebook is it
Developer
Facebook?
circle.
Yeah, the developer circle. Yeah. It's like, yeah,
What
yeah.
year was that?
Oh, I think it was in 2020 there.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it was in 2020, yeah. That's when I was searching. And then I saw one post by Mutale. I think he's active in one of the WhatsApp groups. I always see him, yeah. Yeah, Mutale Mulenga, yeah. So he
Mutale
connected.
Mulenga, he helped somebody here.
Yeah, yeah.
Does he know that? Did you-
I don't think he remembers, yeah, because it was just a one-time thing, yeah. He connected me with with a guy for ONZ. ONZ is when it was starting, yeah. That's when I joined, yeah. So joined ONZ, yeah. After some time, I felt like programming. I was
Chizozo. Was it, yeah?
ONZ.
Yeah.
No.
It's not him?
Yeah, it's not him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, as days went by, I I realized that I wasn't making much with that company at that time. So I actually had to stop, and then I started working at KFC. So like I abandoned programming, and then like I was still with my parents then, and then I could say like, no,
And you
this-
weren't making much.
yeah. No, like they were not believing in the
In
in
the
you,
process.
yeah, in you working from home, like on your computer, like they,
I'm at work.
yeah, they did not believe that. So yeah, they did not believe in that. So they had to force me to join KFC. So I worked with KFC like for like 8 months. So yeah, that's when one of my friends, Michael P, yeah, is actually a very good friend of mine. Yeah, he connected me with a certain company, and then at that time I never had a PC. That's when, like, imagine just quitting KFC, and just because someone promised you a job, but he has given you a task like you need to create it. It was somehow an e-commerce website, and I never had a laptop.
Yeah.
So in my head, I was like, maybe a friend of mine will lend me his laptop, to finish the project. But unfortunately, he never he never assisted. So I had to look for a solution. So that's when one of the best experience in my career, where I worked with React on the phone. Like, yeah, React, Tailwind.
on the phone?
Yeah, I actually completed
Tailwind on the phone?
Tailwind on the phone. I actually completed that task on the phone, and then I didn't.
What phone was it?
Yeah,
What phone was it?
it was an Android, just an Android. I used Tmax, and with Nano, you can install Nano. Actually, you can even learn a server with Django. It's something
guy.
there, yeah. So on the phone, yeah. So I didn't see limitations because I knew, okay, this can be done. As long as I have access to the terminal, the Android terminal, everything is possible. Yeah. So yeah,
Nice, man.
I actually did something. So I think the guy was impressed. Yeah, so it was like I've never met a developer so far who can do that on the phone. Yeah, correcting React and all these libraries, even using state and everything. Yeah, on the phone. Yeah,
Using the tools available.
yeah.
Actually,
all the packages. Yeah,
That's one thing I love about working with Trust.
Mm.
Trust is one person where you can tell him to do stuff he's never done.
Yeah.
His immediate answer is not no. It's like his default action is to yes. Then if things go wrong, then he'll come be like, bruh, I tried and it didn't work, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't have known because
Yeah.
I think the time I didn't have a laptop, but I did have a phone. I just can't tell what version of Android it was running on.
Yeah.
But writing code on a phone.
On the phone,
it
yeah.
wasn't part of the-
That's challenging.
Yeah.
So
I think I still have the project on my GitHub. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then that's how the guy was impressed, and then employed me. And it was one of also one of the best experience working with him, because I worked with one of the best developers ever as well. Yeah.
What's his name?
Asen.
Asen.
Asen is Rapat, the one of
Okay.
Rapat. Yeah, I worked with
Oh.
Asen, and also there is Michael, the same friend of mine. So we are like
Do
three
those two
developers.
people know
Yeah.
about your story? Did you tell
Yeah,
them
yeah,
how
they,
they
they, yeah,
got to
they know. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So those guys.
Tough ones, huh?
Yeah. I've never. Yeah, right now I can say it's Chomba and like the Bongo team. That's when I've met some few developers who can work like that. Yeah, especially with Chomba. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
we work in those lines with Docker, and yeah, Chomba is most comfortable. I feel comfortable working with him when it comes to latest technologies and writing tests, and everything. There are a few
that's
developers I've worked.
interesting.
Most of the developers I've worked with, I know that they can build solutions, but you know they're not scalable at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, like in a minute
Yeah.
on this,
Yeah.
for both of you, what was the first formal job that you got? Or okay, let's say even for trust you've shared your trust you have shared, but Chomba, what was the first formal job that you got? Or even a freelance gig?
In a minute or less.
Yeah, in a minute or less.
Okay. I've got 30 seconds to talk about not a formal job, then 30 seconds to talk about a formal job.
Sure.
So when I felt a bit more confident in building applications,
Yeah.
I felt like I was Mark Zuckerberg. I was like, I'm gonna be the next Facebook in Zambia. I'm being for real. Like I tried that thing for like
The next
what?
Facebook.
Building your own
a month? Yes.
startup.
And it was the best days of my life, because by then you don't know about traction, about marketing strategies, about MVP
Wow,
stuff. You just want to create and build products, right? So I had about 3 startups that I was building. One is called invaluable.com, because I had a music background, so it was a platform where people can upload their music and they can stream with lyrics. Yes. Then the second one was called Gigla, where people can get people to do stuff for them. Basically, just a gig. If you want a gig to paint a house, a gig to do whatsoever. Then I realized that I needed more money to market those products and get the traction up above. So in less than 20 seconds around the formal employment, I built an app which was like the the movie streaming app, but for Zambian content. So I just targeted the shows that are on DSTV Zambia. It was shows like Mpadi. This is typical Zambian stuff. So when I built that app, I posted on Twitter, and then I tagged Bongo Hive and I tagged the Zig. Then the Zig and Bongo Hive they reached out to me. Silumesi reached out to me, and also Chris reached out to me. So those are the best times of my life. But I didn't know what to do. Yeah.
So
but
I can imagine like what you had put out there for these people to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Like,
but I was also scared. But I was also very scared.
Some of the best like top choice employers in when it comes to software developers.
And it was actually on purpose,
that,
because I had spoken to I spoken to Aubrey about it. Then he just mentioned, okay, just post a project and then do this. So it was like on purpose. So you know where you post and then you just keep on refreshing your feeds to make sure that somebody sees it. Yeah, but luckily somebody saw it, and I was given a chance. So the reason the first employer was Bongo Hive. Obviously, that's where I am. Obviously, the shirt. By the way, it's a very cool company to work from. We also offer quite a variety of services. There's the co-working space. I think Parity is gonna put a link in there somewhere down below. But I did work with Simonza. Silumesi. So Silumesi gave me 1 month of internship, just so I can raise enough money to upgrade my PC, because I clearly remember me explaining my story to him. I was like, yo, this is what I need, right? I need money to fund my startups, Gigla and Mbeka.com. So if you can just give me 1 month, I just need 3,000. It doesn't matter if you're gonna pay me in cash whatsoever. I need 3,000. So he said, okay, we're gonna give you 3 months of internship, and then hopefully that will be enough money to get yourself up going. Somebody's giving me a sign that the time is almost done. So I worked with Bongo Hive for a month of my 3 months, but Silumesi decided to give me a full-time job.
So what did you do in that one? I guess you really proved yourself for you to get a full-time job.
Funny part is it wasn't intentional, because I didn't think I was going to get a job because I didn't have a degree. right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
if I knew that I had to convince them to give me a job, probably I would have done way less or way more or way worse. I don't know how I can
Yeah.
put it, but it's just in me. I'm a bit more proactive when it comes to work. So I like looking at things from different angles and here and there. Probably one of those things helped me get a job. But my first job was with Bongo Hive Consult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay.
It's impressive. Yeah.
Okay, so gentlemen, looking at what we've discussed, how you all got into tech, how you got your first jobs. So looking at it, how has been your career so far, and what do you think about an education in a tech-related field? Yeah, as it stands. Yeah, Trust, we start with you.
Okay. Yeah.
Education.
Yeah. So the issue with education. Yeah. So yeah, as you know, I'm a self-taught.
You're
Um,
yourself what?
Self-taught? What?
self-taught developer.
Oh,
Yeah,
self-taught.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Actually, never went to a school. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. One of the challenges that you face as self-taught developers, of course, there are opportunities that will require a
Yeah.
degree. Yeah, a degree or a diploma in software
Yeah.
development, or maybe computer science, or maybe IT.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what I have also observed, such companies are mostly like those like big enterprise organizations, or maybe I can say maybe those companies that are maybe led by those older guys, like
Give me
like they're
those guys.
still, yeah, they're still
Yeah.
like in the past, yeah. But
Wait.
yeah, like
No.
no.
At
So,
organization that are led by what?
so, okay,
Yeah.
so maybe to put it in a different way,
Yeah.
maybe like people that don't have so much confidence in self-taught developers.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe only people that have gone to school can do this thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I can actually work.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, but that hasn't discouraged me in terms of looking for opportunities, and also succeeding in terms of finding jobs and also gigs. Yeah. Yeah. So far, I've worked for like big organization. Like right now, I'm with Bongo Hive as a
Big
self-taught.
organization.
Yeah.
Big.
And yeah, and yeah, and last year, interesting, I was working with a Namibian company. I started as a back-end engineer. Yeah.
Cross borders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from a back engineer to I went to a tech lead. From a tech lead, the guy saw the potential in me. I reached at the point where I was the CTO of the company.
Just
Yeah.
retire, man. Just retire.
Yeah.
You guys just retire.
Yeah, so yeah,
It's really
yeah.
amazing. Look at how your
Let me
eyes
get
is through.
CTO.
Yeah. So it has been a good
Yeah.
experience hiring someone, firing someone. So
You do this, you got
You
a
even
degree.
have all these. You are even put in a spot where you have to make all these different
Yeah.
situations.
Without a degree.
Firing,
Yeah,
without
fire.
a degree.
Yeah. Actually, some of the guys like local developers in the circles, in the Facebook groups. Yeah, I worked with some where I mostly posted the job ad when I needed a developer. So it was just up to me to make a decision. Like, oh, I'm shortage in this part. Can I just bring someone? And then I just interview the guy, and then I just bring the guy.
Soft life.
I actually know somebody you worked with.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Yeah.
Actually, no, like I think the same Namibian company.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody was like, "Oh, I worked with this person for this."
For this, oh yeah. So yeah, it was an amazing experience. Yeah, as a self-taught, of course. Yeah. So I think what I would encourage, like especially upcoming developers, if one of the reason why I'm a self-taught is because I never had resources to go to university. Yeah. So my parents couldn't manage paying for my university, although I got a scholarship at one of the universities, but she just, like I say, she just didn't believe in computers. Yeah.
So the scholarship was about what?
It was about 90%, so like I was only required to be paying 1,000
But
a
this is,
semester.
what field is it? IT?
It was computer science.
Computer science.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but after that event, I still just pushed like teaching myself. Like like we've talked about my journey. Yeah, and yeah, so my
But then, like, within that whole period,
yeah.
within this whole period, like from the time you started up to where you are now, did you see a need for a formal education at any point?
Um, yeah, yeah, like I've said, there are some opportunities, like maybe there is a bank, maybe let me, yeah, like big enterprise companies that want a software developers. I've come across like such opportunities, but the limit has been the degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but right now, I made a decision like to go back to school Cavendish. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you're
This
not
year.
going back. You are
You're going
starting.
Oh
forward.
yeah, oh
You're
yeah.
going
I'm
forward
starting,
this
so to
time.
say, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
No, you
the
guys
next
going
step.
back.
Yeah. You know the why I say going back because it was something that I abandoned. So like I'll never go back to school. But
So
now
it's-
I made a decision.
Yeah, so after you saw like, I can actually make bank with my skills, I can learn from the internet.
Yeah.
So school,
Yeah,
go
no,
with that.
yeah,
Let me focus on my skills and
yeah.
jobs and this and stuff.
Yeah.
But you made a decision to
Go back.
to school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So to say, to
That's
start.
amazing.
Yeah, but one of the say the most motivation for me, like starting university now, is just that I want to make my mother proud. As well. Like she has been, yeah, she has
that's
been,
great.
yeah, she has been asking like, oh, school things. You know, parents are just proud when they are,
parents,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
so,
good.
and they also, parents always wish for the best for us, so they
Yeah.
always want that security for us.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the reason, one of the I'd say the most important reason why I went back to school. I just want at least to have that. Like, okay, I have a child. This child has a degree, but on a personal level, I don't think a degree is a limit. Like
Yeah.
for in terms of you like making it big in software, yeah, as a software developer,
Yeah.
because I know like some of my friends, they are self-taught but they are making a lot of money, and then they are not even working for local companies, they are working for United States based companies. Yeah,
Yeah, but I also know
That's
some
amazing,
friends
yeah.
who are.
yeah,
I mean, you're gonna continue, but I just want to make a point.
yeah. Yeah, you can do
Sure.
it.
I also know of some friends who do have degrees and they're making a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
yeah,
just wanted
yeah.
to-
So it's both ways. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's both ways. So
Yeah.
Because
I think
most people-
one common factor here is like hard work. Yeah, hard work, being smart. Yeah,
Yeah, but
Yeah, that
my
stands out.
yeah, but
So
I think my last point, yeah,
yeah,
what I would advise someone is if you have the opportunity to go
Yes.
to school, take that opportunity because it's not easy. Like it sounds fancy, like when you're saying I'm a self-taught, but it's not an easy journey. Like just knowing programming like at its core and then building things that big companies would actually utilize in terms of problem solving. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I would, yeah,
That's
my advice,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for that advice. Yeah,
Yeah,
I hope a lot of people that will be watching this will actually take that. Yeah, yeah, Tom, but yeah, now to you.
So trust your closing point was around if you have the opportunity to go to
School-
to
yeah,
school.
to university.
Yeah,
Yeah.
college.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so basically for tertiary education.
Yeah, I do ride on that point as well. But I also have some like differences there,
Yeah,
which I hope to share with the listening audience or the viewing audience. Yeah. So my question to me is what are my views on degree?
On the education.
So, education. Yeah, like what views do you have on somebody getting a tertiary education when it comes to getting into these careers?
Okay. I think for me the biggest thing there is just like making sure that you know why you are doing what you're doing. Right?
Yeah.
For me, I feel like it's the biggest drive. So if you know why you have to go to university, then that's way more important than if you're going to go to university or you're not going to university. Like I said to Trust Point, I've seen people who haven't gone to university but they make a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
I've also seen point who haven't gone to university but they are making less money.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's a bit both sided in a sense. So
Yeah, I
the
agree
biggest
with you.
the biggest point for me is when you're going to school, make sure you know why you're going to school, right? And it's gonna help you. It's gonna help you a lot. I don't really have much to talk about when it comes to degree or no degree because I've seen both of different worlds,
Both worlds,
right? Yeah. So speaking for myself, maybe if I had somebody to pay for my school when I decided to do software engineering, I would have been in school. Maybe I might have dropped out halfway. I can't speak to that because like in the future, right? But yeah, if you have a reason to go to school, you can go to school. Um, Part of the reason why right now I'm doing cybersecurity at Zikas, right?
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so this came
great.
about
Yeah.
earlier this year. But this semester, I'm not in school. And the reason why I'm not in school is because I deferred the semester. And the reason why I deferred the semester is I'm trying to outweigh again and see if I really have to go to school, right? But part of the reason, because you could be wondering now, like, why am I in school and that I'm planning to do this is because I had an opportunity that I felt it would benefit me and it would benefit the country and the world at large, right? But I hated the idea that a paper was in the way. Like you can imagine if
Yeah.
I can have to speak to the president and say, let's change this policy and do XYZ. But I can't do that because I don't have a, I would have guessed, but I don't have a paper, right? Yeah, so the idea that the paper is coming in the way of me making Zambia a better country in terms of tech scared me.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Right.
Like if you are trying to bring a point across and you don't have a paper,
Yeah.
people would be like, "Ah, okay, they would take somebody who has a paper more serious.
More serious, exactly. Because
Yeah.
if I go to the, I don't want to mention ministries and stuff like that, but if I go to ministry A and say, I've got an idea on how we can change XYZ, the immediate question I get asked is, why should we think you are the right person to do this? Do you have a paper? Do you have anything that speaks to you? And then people don't want to be like, oh, I've got a project on GitHub. I did some Web3 things, and then they don't have that time. So they want to see the paper first and then see what you can do. Unfortunately, that's how it is. So there are some companies, there's some ministries that they want to see the paper first before what you can do. But if you can get into those companies and then get to show what you can do without the paper, then that becomes a point, right? So I decided to go to school because I felt like I needed to do that to have something that can allow me to tap into areas that I can't tap into right now.
Yeah.
Because right now my work is based on Bongo Hive knows that Chomba can deliver, Chomba can do this, Chomba can do XYZ because they have seen me do that.
Yes.
But I don't get that luxury with any organization. So I needed to have like an entry point, something that I can provide and say, this is the master's in cybersecurity. So now let's talk. So what I can do with, So that's why I decided to go to school. But right now, like I said, I deferred the semester. I'm not promising to go back, but I'm also not promising that I want to go back. So it's still like gray area right there. But
I feel you.
if you are going to university, make sure you know why you are going there. If you are not going to university, make sure you know why you are not going there. So that will give you more reason to outweigh the options and pick what works for you.
And one funny thing, my circle also has people that have, let's say, formal education, let's say tertiary education, and those that don't have tertiary education but are both making bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah, trust me.
So we find that somebody that doesn't have tertiary education is getting $5,000 per month.
Sure.
Yeah, that's net.
Yeah.
But of course not in Zambia. They are staying in Zambia, but they are working for
US company
that are outside Zambia remotely. And I also have people that have tertiary education, and they're also making like $5,000 per month. So there's that balance. One thing that I've noticed in common with these guys is, for the guys that don't have a tertiary education, they have to prove themselves. They have to work twice as hard to show what they can do. It's about them showing what they are able to accomplish.
Yeah.
But for the guys that have some tertiary education, the tertiary education gives them a head start. So they'll show that face. They'll be like, okay, they already have this, and then all the other things will now follow suit. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think
So
it sort of
also,
creates a
yeah,
balance.
yeah. But what one
Yeah.
thing I appreciate about going to school is that
Mhm.
right now, if I say most self-taught, they are just technical guys. Like they are self-taught in the field where they can code, they can build solutions, but maybe in terms of the business side, they do not really understand it. But in
Yeah.
school, you are taught all those things.
Yeah, but
And
on that
yeah,
point,
yeah. And also, like you're exposed to a lot of courses. You in
yeah,
school, you just don't do coding or
yeah,
programming.
mhm,
You have like business courses. You have
yeah,
like you learn about other systems, like
yeah,
valuable
yeah,
systems that are there, and then also
mm,
some you even like dash like some robotic stuff, so it
yeah,
exposes you to a lot of things rather than,
mm,
yeah, like if yes, so software, I feel like at some point you'll be limited in just being technical if you are not,
yeah.
if you do not explore it. Yeah.
And again, not just like being technical, but sometimes for self-taught developers, you find that they would stick to the surface. So some just go straight to the practical aspect of things.
Uh-huh.
So you find that somebody would stick to, let's say, web development. Huh?
Uh-huh.
They'll stick to building websites. But when it goes to like building core business systems, where like that complexity level
Mhm. Yeah,
just
yeah.
goes shoots off the charts, you'd find that people would struggle. Yeah, for example, somebody doesn't know data structures and
And
algorithms.
algorithms, yeah.
This is something that I've, been in so many groups. I see a lot of computer science students and IT students making fun of data structures and algorithms. They say that's something that the lecturer is busy teaching that, but in the industry you will never actually get to use that. But in actual science, those
Yeah,
are,
you tend to use it,
yeah, they
yeah.
are really important stuff. You go to mathematics, physics, these are things that
Yeah, we
the AI
utilize.
that we're having now. So, because you see, the Nobel Prize winner, like 2024,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, for physics, they have been awarded because of their contributions towards artificial neural networks.
Oh,
So, but then some people would think like physics doesn't really contribute to
contribute,
the
yeah.
practical aspect of stuff. But look at where we are now.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I feel like people that I feel like people that get into a formal education sometimes neglect the important parts simply because they are theoretical.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they just think the practical aspect is all
Is
that matters,
mhm.
but all the stuff that is taught in a tertiary education actually matters. But it's up to that individual to actually put in the extra work,
Mhm.
do the work. Like these are hard things,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's not up to one
And
filtering out, but
yeah,
they really have to put in the work.
yeah, and also another trait,
Mhm.
another advantage I think,
Yeah,
yeah, for self-taught is that they are very I think productive, so to say.
yeah, productive.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
or in practical as well. Yeah,
hmm,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So like in when it comes to like, to go the technical part where it's
yeah,
programming, like most self-taught because that's their field, so I feel like
yeah,
they are
yeah.
really really
Mhm.
technical, really
Yeah,
practical. Yeah.
and also because you definitely have to work twice as much because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't have you don't have a thing to show for it. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely it has to be your skills
Mm-hmm,
and your
yeah.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so show us what you can do. Instead of at least for somebody who has a tertiary education, they would show their qualification and say like, okay, I have this.
Yeah,
To
and the
speak
projects
for
they did
them.
it in
Yeah,
school.
for
Yeah,
a
actually,
start.
as
Yeah,
we are wrapping up, I'll just have to point out one thing. This is, I
yeah,
think, parity. Maybe when you organize another session, it can be a good talk point. um, when I'm saying it, I don't want it to be like a discussion point for now,
yeah,
but this is just my view because you
Yeah.
guys have said your views.
Yeah.
Um, the challenge is three-quarters of self-taught developers, they don't make good team players, right? And because the soft,
yeah. Hmm.
one of them is like the soft skills that you guys are
Yeah,
talking
Yeah,
soft
yeah,
about,
yeah.
right?
Soft
skills.
So
skills, yeah.
maybe on another episode we can like just delve deeper into that because I can see from now that you still have like points where you
Yeah.
have to
Oh,
like dig
yeah,
deeper.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
there's also a section of self-taught developers with good communication skills, but
Yeah.
three-quarters of those, they you just have to get the job done. It doesn't matter if you do
Yeah,
it
yeah,
alone, you
that's
do it in certain way and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
you know what? I
yeah,
so
think
maybe we
but
can
the next episode we really have to talk about that. And most of these
right.
things, I like. There's a picture that our ED shared. I think we'll beam it on the screen. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what others call soft skills are actually essential skills.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually we'll beam that. I think we'll really have to talk a lot about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
makes sense.
yeah, there are these things that are just like adaptability, being proactive. Like these things are essential skills and not really soft skills as they are called.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think we'll really talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
think for a start, this has really been interesting. At least, sharing like where, yeah, you gentlemen are starting from, how things have been going. Yeah, I think it's a good start. Yeah, looking forward to us discussing this further.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So, gentlemen, just to wrap up, what final words do you have? Yeah.
Oui.
Trust.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah,
first.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my final words, yeah, in yeah, as a developer, there are a lot of obstacles that you meet. Yeah, and right now I'm sure we have like load shedding. Yeah, load shedding, and sometimes you might have a project that maybe you're not familiar
Yeah.
with with the tech stack that it's using, but yeah, just let the passion drive you. Like, yeah, my last word will be the passion. Yeah, let
Okay.
passion drive you, and then or people might ask, how will passion solve the load shedding issues?
Ah, even better, how a passion parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. So for the load shedding, I mentioned it. Yeah, but you can just find where to work. I'm sure
Yeah, and
I'm
also like
utilizing.
when it comes to like load shedding, and finding where to work,
Yeah.
Hive co-working as a
Hmm.
space that is
Mhm.
available
Oh
24/7.
yeah,
Yeah, you can come and work from Hive co-working. That's where we are shooting the video from. Yeah,
yeah.
we'll put a short video so that you see how the space is, and also where you was talking about if you're having struggles, bugs.
Mhm.
Yeah, at Hive co-working we have world-class developers that work from a you have a good number of people that you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
actually get to talk
To
to,
interact with.
consult when you're having challenges. It's in that space where there's innovation, technical proficiency. So, yeah, please be sure to like check out Hive co-working.
And
Yeah.
spoiler alert, if you mention my name, they'll give you 20% discount.
Discount.
Just mention my name. Let's say Chomba.
Chomba Dave.
Uncle Dave.
Yeah.
Uncle Dave, and they'll give you 20%.
Just say trust or just say the parity beats.
Yeah.
20% discount. For you, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's all from me. Been here
Yeah,
from
thanks,
Tumba.
Chomba.
Oh, what
Your
am
last
I
word?
saying again?
Yeah,
My
so
last-
like just
last
your last word.
I'm wondering if I should say three sentences or just one.
Yeah.
But the first one,
Yeah.
the first one is do it broke. Yeah, just do it broke. Don't wait for what you don't know. So when you do have the courage to pursue technology, just get started. The PC can come later on. The hosting can come later on, and everything else. Just do it. Yeah. So that's the first word.
Yeah.
Should I do the? No, the third and the second and third will come in the next episode. But yeah, for me, it's just like do it, bro.
Oh, yeah, thanks a lot, gentlemen. Yeah, it has really been interesting, having this conversation. Yeah, I really hope like a lot of people get to listen to this, get to watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure like where we are going, there's a lot more that we're going to share. Considering the current trends, there's just way so much that I want you guys to share. AI, the future of work, remote work, like there's just way so much. So I think like we should really continue having these conversations.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
We
So I
should.
think the next one there's even more that we're going to share.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we're going to build up on
interesting
this.
topics. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Sheesh. So inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Genius.
one of these
Inspires
episodes,
me.
I'm also going to share a bit on like how I got
Yeah.
into tech and how
Oh
I
yeah.
started. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're actually one of the people I looked up to when I was getting into tech. Yeah, you Alibanda. Yeah, so those guys.
Oh,
when,
hi.
when you see on Facebook, we are like these guys.
Say, the moment you think
Yeah.
go-go's,
Yeah,
smart go-go's, I think Harry Panda.
Zambians are really doing so much in tech, huh?
Yeah.
Right? Even building next gen tech.
Oh yeah.
Like you build snap AR features in
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yo, me, I've got a
Yeah.
friend. I've got a friend, Mundia.
Yeah.
Like say,
Yeah.
he's hosting his own servers in-house in his own apartment. Like say, that's next level stuff.
Yeah, Munja is another one hardcore dev.
Do you know Mwansa?
Someone's
That's okay. We'll talk more in the next episode. Yeah.
No, we are going to talk more in the next episode. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for joining us. Yeah, so this is not the end of the conversation. We'll continue having these conversations and we hope to see you next time. Please don't forget to check out Hive Co-working. Right?
If this is your vibe, or this, then you're in the right place.